Definitely delighted to have come through the 3 games. It's been a tough couple of games, tougher than people might have realised even up to today. Even the matches have been quite physical and taking their toll on the lads. But today it wasn't our best performance. We made a lot of errors at times, but all credit to Waterford. They put a lot of pressure on us. They were in our face from the word go. They were very well organised, and they hung in there and made it very, very difficult for us. And were it not for the push that the lads coming off the bench made in the last 10 minutes, I don't know would we have gotten across the line. But we showed great resolve at that stage of the game to, in our defence in particular. I think there was a number of occasions there where they were strong on the attack, and we were just very resolute in defence and turned them over and brought the ball back out and went down the field and got a couple of scores just to make it to seal the deal. But to go back to your original point, yeah, absolutely delighted to have won a second Munster title. As you say, it's a long time since 1980, so hopefully we can build on it. It took us a long time to get back to this point from when we were last there, and we've 2 weeks now to get ready for the next game.
2 weeks is a lot more preferable to the 4 weeks you would have had last year before semi-final.
It's definitely preferable to 7 days as well. Listen, it's coming thick and fast. You just don't have time very much, to reflect, to gather your thoughts and go again. It's been really, really intense for the last few weeks, and we've worked extremely hard. And to be fair to the boys, there's huge credit to them, because it's not easy travelling from Dublin for training on your own in the car, and having to tug out in very inclement conditions and maybe not have a shower and sit in the car and go back up to Dublin again. So like even today, is tinged a little bit, because of the fact that we haven't got all our group with us. We have 10 players at home, which in my view is completely and utterly unacceptable, given that I have 20 reporters standing in front of me and I have 10 in my panel at home. I'm quite offended by that situation we've been put in, and I would appeal to the authorities at government level, at national level, to end this nonsense and allow the panels across all the county teams to be together, because that unity that's involved with the 36 players is crucial, and our players should not be at home when we have 200 plus people in a stadium watching the match. Our players should be here with their colleagues. So as far as I'm concerned, that cup won't be presented until Tuesday night when we get to train and we've got our full panel of players there.
John, do you know, is that a government decision or is that a...
That is a government decision, I'm told. But listen, whoever's making the decision, I disagree with it.
John, in the match, Waterford maybe brought something different to you that you played in the last 2 games?
They brought a ferocious intensity to it. They brought a really crowded middle third. They were very direct in their running. They support runners that they had were coming off the shoulder constantly. They're a fine team. We knew that back in February. We knew it in March. I've been saying it all week. We were expecting a really, really difficult challenge today, and it came exactly that way. And I'm just delighted that our boys stood up to the challenge and kept their composure and ironed out the result. Maybe on a day when they didn't play maybe at their very, very best. But you're not going to play your best every single day you go out, and you've got to still find a way of winning. And I'm delighted with the way our lads kept their heads, kept their composure, and worked so hard in that final quarter to see out the game.
John, Kyle Hayes a really strong finish to the game, and you've taken him out of centre forward where he's been so good, and there's probably validation for that, the way he finished that game. Do you get that sense?
Listen, it's hard for a young lad to go back into a new position. He's been fantastic with the attitude that he's brought to it, and the manner in which he's prepared for the games over the last 2-3 weeks, and the way he's worked at it in training. He's obviously a player who's got a lot to learn and go back into a new position in the middle of a campaign like that. So, but I would trust him, to do such a job, because he's so reliable. He's got great focus, great concentration, and he's very very athletic and strong. So going forward for him on the half back line is a real plus for us now, in the speed that he can attack and set up attacks at the other end.
Would you have felt risk in that? taken him out of the position.
Absolutely, of course there is. Yeah, of course there is. But listen, we also have a lot of resources in other areas of the field as well, and we've got to work. We've got to use all the resources that we have to the optimum, and we felt that this was us using our resources to the optimum.
John, a lot is made of your size, but Graham Mulcahy there in the second half when you needed him, he was really standing up to the plate.
Yeah, he was fantastic, and really put his body on the line to win some balls, and his work rate, his tenacity, that's nothing new, that's always been there, that's just the type of player he is. He's got a ferocious intensity to his play and great energy, and all credit to him,
Is he alright? Has he got a bang there just before
He got a bang, yeah, I think he's okay. He's wiry, he's made a tough
very
stuff.
first touch when Cameron was Flanagan. It's not an easy thing to come on in games like that and have the impacts he's been having.
Yeah, and Adrian Breen came on, did really well. There were two very, very important scores that the boys got there, So, all credit to them. They've been going well in training, so I'm not surprised.
It can't be easy to say to these lads, sorry, you're not starting again every time they make an impact. It's not an easy conversation, I'd imagine, as a manager.
Listen, they're working very hard in training, that's all they can do, and we've got to trust that we need 15 players starting, but we need 15 more players to finish. And if that's the job that needs to be done for the team, that's the job they'll do for the team.
John, how near is Richie English?
Sorry?
How near is Richie English?
Sure, he's there, he's here, he's landed, he's back. That's all done and dusted. His recovery is complete, he's back as any player is, and he's competing for his place in the team now, and he'll have to fight the same as the rest of them to get his place back in the team. If he wants that jersey badly enough, he'll work hard enough.
John, does it make it more difficult, just getting back to the restrictions on the squads, does it make it more difficult? You mentioned Richie there, someone else had to drop out, that you're not just picking them for the game, you're telling them they can't come to the game at all. Does that make it more difficult for you?
Well, sure, listen, it's not about me. I've got a difficult conversation to have every week with 10 players every week anyway, that they're not making the 26 or that they're not on the match day 15. Conversations during the season when you're maybe leaving somebody out of the panel, they're all difficult conversations. I've no problem with having difficult conversations, but I don't agree with the premise that we can have 200 plus people in a stadium, which we're here today watching this match, when my 10 players are at home this morning training, number one, in order to keep their load up to the equivalent level of the other players on the panel, to ensure that if they do get called up next week that they don't get injured because their load isn't right. So that to me is just not acceptable, because I don't believe that there is an inherent risk to 10 of those players coming with the rest of the group in their own car like the rest of the group and sitting in the stand and watching the match and being a part of our group after we're finished. I don't agree with it. I have a strong objection to it. I have made representations, I have been heard, but the situation still stands.